So 6 months ago, I started working a 9 to 5 job, while at the same time, I also enrolled back into university to study digital marketing. So that basically meant that I had these two really big things that I had to juggle at the same time. And with all the responsibilities that I already had on the side, like YouTube, my friends, my relationship, my family life, everything all together, I found myself struggling a lot when it came to managing my time and just overall my sanity. So in this video, I want to share a couple of time management and anti-burnout tips for all of you who are studying and working a 9 to 5 job at the same time like me, because I personally struggled a lot at the beginning and I really couldn't find my balance for a while, and that led to burnout, that led to feeling exhausted by the end of the year. And I don't want you guys to be in the same situation. I really want you to be able to pull this off without feeling exhausted and burning out, because it ain't no fun. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So basically a little background story on how my classes and just like my everyday schedule looks like. I basically work 4 days a week. I work on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, and those days I'm at work from 9 a.m. to around 6 p.m. ish, because in France you have a 2-hour lunch break. Not in every single company, but at a lot of companies you have a 2-hour lunch break. So I work 4 days a week, and on Wednesday I have university classes. So I have quite a lot of classes at the moment. All of my classes are online. So this is actually something I really recommend you to do. Go to university where you can take online classes, because it's a big help that I don't have to commute even on the days that I'm not working. I think it's just really a big time saver. So if you have the possibility, definitely make sure to find a university where you can take online classes. Overall, I have, I think, around 12 different classes, and I mostly have a lot of group projects, presentations, dissertations to write, and yeah, I just have a lot of different group projects that take up a lot of my time. So that's basically it for how my daily schedule looks like. And I work at a tech company, at a health tech company, and I am a communication and marketing officer basically. So that's it for my work and study life. And now let's get into the tips on how to study with a full-time job without burning out and without exhausting yourself. So my very first tip that I wish I took last year: have realistic expectations on what you can do and on what you just cannot do. So when you're studying and working at the same time, you just don't have a lot of free time on your hands. You just don't. And for people like me who have a lot of different things going on at the same time, it's normal for us to want to get done a lot of things all at once. For example, if you have a side hustle, if you have kids, if you have any other like side businesses, it's normal for you that you still wanna get a lot of things and work on those projects too at the same time. But unfortunately, it won't really be possible. It's very important that you know how much time you need to get things done. Like for example, for me, since I also have a YouTube channel, I know that editing a video takes probably for me like around like 7-8 hours. So I know that I won't be able to edit a full video when I get back home from work. Like, it's just not possible. I'm not gonna get home at 7 p.m. and then just like edit a full video until 1 a.m. in the morning and then go to work the next day. Like, I just know that that's not something I'm gonna work on. But for example, I can do other things. Like, I know that maybe editing a thumbnail takes maybe like 1 hour to do. So that's something I can still do whenever I get back home from work. Just try to write down somewhere how much time different things that you want to work on take. This would look like maybe writing down how much time you need to revise for a class. Like, if you know that you need around 2 hours to revise thoroughly for a class, for a specific class, then you know that, okay, so this, I can do that after work. But if you know that reading a book, for example, takes you much longer, then that's not something that you're gonna do after work. So have non-negotiable things that you just won't sacrifice no matter what. And non-negotiable things for me are things that I know that I'm not obliged to do, but those are the things that I cannot live without. So for example, I know that I'm not obliged every single day to journal, and it's not part of my work, it's not part of my study schedule, but it's just something that I won't sacrifice because it's something that I love to do and it's something that contributes to my mental health. So another non-negotiable for you might be going on a walk every single day, or going to the gym every single day, or watching Netflix every single day. Have your non-negotiables and don't give up on them. That activity is very, very precious, and even though you're not obliged to do it, it's something that you need in order to preserve your mental health. So have your non-negotiables. I think it's very, very important for us to keep the things that make us feel like we are ourselves, because those are the things that will ground us, and those are the things that will keep us feeling sane even during this really busy, hectic and stressful time. Okay, so my next tip is to create a plan. And if you're not organized, if you're not someone who is organized, and if you're not someone who is organized, it's time to get organized, because this whole working and studying at the same time thing won't work unless you're organized. So you will have so many different deadlines, you will have so many different projects for work and university and maybe your personal life too at the same time, that you need to be organized here. So to do that, I highly recommend you to be very old school and either to buy an agenda and write things down, or buy a planner or a notebook, or you can even use digital products to do that. You can just create a Notion page, you can download an application to do this, but note down all of the different deadlines that you have. First of all, for your exams, I think that's the most important. Write down every single thing you have to do. Your deadlines, write down your work project deadlines, write down everything. Writing down really, really helps a lot to stay organized. So do it your own way. Either buy an agenda or just download an application, but this will really help you to avoid any kind of bad surprises like exams you forgot about or a paper you forgot to hand in. And yeah, it's just really nice to keep track on how much time you still have to work on a project. So definitely create a plan, write down all of your deadlines. Okay, so my next tip is to work in advance, and this is something that I've been preaching ever since I started university, because this is what kept me sane, and this is something that helped me so much while I was studying at Sorbonne. Work in advance. Literally, guys, work in advance. This is an advice I want to preach to all of the university students out there. This will help you so much. Usually when you start university, in the first couple of weeks, you don't have a lot of exams. The first couple of weeks when you're at university is usually the time that a lot of students go out to have parties. A lot of students go out to have fun, go to parties, hang out with each other. It's very easy to use this time if you're a student to just laze off. I never did that. I was the person who, and I'm still the person who, when I don't have a lot of things going on at university, I'm working on the things that I will have to hand in like 3 or 4 months. So for example, last November, I got an assignment for a project that I have to hand in this April. And I had so many projects like this that I already knew about in November. So what did I do? Did I laze off and left it to the last minute and just enjoyed my student life and just started working on it 2 weeks before? No, I finished all of the projects almost 5-6 months in advance. And now all of my classmates who are working on it just now, who just started working on it now, are dying from exhaustion or stressing so much. I'm over here chilling, like I already finished working on it like last year. I already even forgot about it. I always did this, and this is something that helped me so much. And it's just such a nice feeling when you know that you're already done with an assignment months in advance, and you can just forget about it. You can do other things, and you can just study for other things. You can work on your business on the side. It's just so nice to know that you don't have to stress about it anymore. And I know that when you're a student, it's very tempting to use the time you don't have a lot of work to do other things, but you have to be disciplined here. Think of it as making the future your favor by working in advance in the now. It's like going to the gym. if you work on this now, the future you will benefit from it so much. So you're doing it for you. Think of it as you're doing it for you. Okay, so my next advice is to multitask. I call this no-brain activities. So no-brain activities are, for example, doing the dishes, doing the laundry, cleaning the house, going for a walk. It's the activities that don't require a lot of brain power. Use those activities in the day to study. This is a great way to study while you're still getting things done. Like, for example, if you're cooking or if you're just cleaning the house, use the time to maybe listen to an audiobook that you need for one of your classes. Use the time to study. Use the time wisely. You can also use your commuting time to study. That's what I do sometimes. When it takes me 1 hour to go to work, I just use that time to like read for one of my classes or to listen to one of my classes. So multitasking is gonna help you a lot to prepare for your classes even when you're very busy. Okay, so my next step is to have boundaries with other people, but also with yourself. When you're studying and working at the same time, you will sacrifice a lot of things, and your time is super precious. Your time is literally gold, and you don't have a lot of time for drama, for toxic people, for people who just waste your time. So it's very important that you have boundaries with people and that you only sacrifice your time for the right things and people. You don't have time for toxic people. You don't have time for people who just waste your time. You don't have time for friends. You need to make sure that you use your time wisely, and you also have to have boundaries with yourself. And having boundaries with yourself means that when you're feeling exhausted, when you're feeling burnt out, you don't push yourself. That's the type of boundary that you have to have with yourself. When you're starting to feel exhausted and burnt out and depressed and just unhappy, it's time for you to change up something. It's time for you to take a day off. It's time for you to stop working. It's time for you to go on vacation. Don't push yourself to the point where you're completely burnt out. And another thing is that you can't really be productive when you're feeling burnt out. Like, of course, you can still get things done and kind of be a zombie and work while feeling burnt out, but it's not gonna be a good productive work. It's not gonna be good quality work, and you're just gonna feel miserable at the end of it. So, and the same goes the other way. When you know that you've been lazing off for a long time, it's time to get to work. When you know that you haven't really been putting the work in that you need to put in order to finish your exams or to pass your classes, it's time to get to work. So it's all about balance, and balance with yourself and balance with the people around you too. And my last advice is to make sure that you take the time to see your friends and family, and just to see people in general. When we're very busy with work and studying, it's very easy to just kind of sacrifice our human relationships and our friendships and just to spend time all alone and just to focus on studying and just to isolate ourselves in order to get things done. But I think it's very important to keep seeing the people that contribute to your happiness. I think it's very important to keep meeting up with your friends, to keep going out, even if you won't be able to do it to the extent that you used to, even if you won't be able to go to every house party, even if you won't be able to go out every single week. I think it's still really important to see your friends, see your family, just kind of like get out of your own bubble. Because I know that, for example, me, when I get very, very busy, it's very easy for me to sacrifice all of my friendships and just to cut off everybody and just focus on exams and studying and work. But I always feel very lonely at these times. So it's very important that you keep seeing people. Be very selective with the people you see. Be very selective with who you let in your life, but just make sure that you have a couple of friends or family members that you can talk to regularly. It's really important that you have someone that you can talk with when you're feeling down or stressed out. And I think it's just very good to see things from a different perspective, basically. I think it's very important for us to make sure that we're not sacrificing the wrong things. We can get so busy with our lives and we can just get so obsessed with like a goal or something that we want to achieve that we just completely forget about the other things in our life that's also very important, like our friends, our family, or even our hobbies or passions. So just make sure that you sacrifice the right things when you're studying and working at the same time. And I know that it sucks that you have to sacrifice so many things, but just know that it won't last forever, and just know that it's a temporary thing. And once you're done with school, because school doesn't last forever, that's the good thing. That's the good thing about university and studying. It won't last forever. Like, it just won't. At some point you're gonna graduate. At some point you won't have to do this anymore, and that is amazing because you can learn a lot from this stressful period. You can learn how to manage your time. You can learn more about yourself. You can learn about the things that are really important for you. So make sure that you learn from this period. Make sure that you use your time wisely, and make sure that you just know your why. Make sure that you don't sacrifice the wrong things for your goals and for your achievements, and stay in balance. So I think that this is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found it helpful. I hope that you learned something from this video, and if you're studying and working at the same time, I wish you the best of luck. You're doing well, so kudos to you and good luck to you. Best of luck to you, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you for watching, and bye. In the pouring rain, and no matter what we go through, love will still remain. So do what you want, baby. You and me